So this is something that piqued my interest recently and something that I thought I'd talk about in a video. This video is kind of a little ramble off the cuff, just talking about, what I think because again, I've always thought about this. Will RuneScape ever die? Now, some of you probably have thought about this too, and for some the answer might be really easy. Well, yeah, in 500 years, there probably won't be RuneScape servers up, but I'm thinking more practically like the next, 20 years, in our lifetimes, in our, more recent lifetimes, if a lot of us are in our 20s, so maybe when we're 40, is RuneScape still going to exist? RuneScape has been a part of our lives for so long. It's honestly been a part of mine for longer than I can remember. I think I was like 6 or 7 when I first picked up on RuneScape, and I remember the image vividly. I was at a friend's house and I saw him playing a game on one of the, the old computers back in the early 2000s, I guess. It basically looked like a white block. It was a white cube computer. I was at my friend's house and I remember distinctively him being in the Varrock rune shop and just buying some runes. And I remember asking him what the game was. And then when I got home that day, I basically begged my dad to let me play. And eventually, he let me play, and that's that. Now I'm making RuneScape YouTube videos as a job. I've been playing RuneScape for so long, and to many people it's a comfort thing. Maybe you get home after a day of work, or you're just, the weekend's here, and you just hop on RuneScape, and you've been doing it for so many years. And it's hard to imagine the time where you can't do that, and that's kind of the sad thing about this video, is kind of thinking about that and thinking about what is going to happen in the future about RuneScape, because RuneScape feels like it grew incredibly fast. I mean, when we were kids, I remember in school, one person played RuneScape, and then eventually it got around and we had entire friend groups in school of people playing RuneScape. I remember going to the book fair in school. They had those scholastic book fairs, I think, where you could go and get books. And I remember picking up the RuneScape official guide there. I think I still have it somewhere. And that's a big memory for me, that the little guide that I'm not sure if it was an official guide or not, but it had all the monsters, different quests, different skill stuff in there. Really, really cool thing that I know a lot of people made videos about before. But I remember that in the early days of RuneScape. When we think about games that have been around for a super long time, RuneScape's already one of them, but you have games like World of Warcraft. There are games that were around and were a hit, and then they did die. Not a lot of games actually do completely die, but something like Club Penguin, I believe eventually got bought by Disney and then eventually shut down. So something like that actually did end up dying. But the thing about a game is, if it does die, if RuneScape one day does die, we already have RuneScape private servers, people fan-hosted servers of RuneScape, which is against the rules, I believe. But imagine if RuneScape was gone for good. I'm sure there would be some fan project to not only, kind of bring back RuneScape, or a game that could try to recreate RuneScape. I think it's kind of an iconic game with its elements. So I think if we want to play RuneScape or a game like RuneScape, I think we'll kind of always have the opportunity. I think things like that, fan projects, are always going to be able to keep games alive, even if they completely die. If somebody wants to play something, there will be some sort of project to be able to at least kind of get the same feel or play the game that you know and love. I think the other thing is, RuneScape fans are crazy. RuneScape players are crazy in a good way. We grind for thousands of hours, restrict our accounts in dumb ways for the sake of entertainment. We do so much stuff. We're honestly a very, very, very die-hard player base, and a lot of us, this is our game. We don't play many other games. I play a good few different games, but I know a lot of people. I think I ran a poll a year or longer ago when it was like, is RuneScape, do you play games other than RuneScape? And so many people actually said, no, I don't play any games other than RuneScape. And that, that kind of shocked me a little, but it just shows how much how many people just play RuneScape and are dedicated to just playing this one game. And I think that there's always going to be that core player base there, basically no matter what. So there's always going to be some sort of, it's not just going to slowly die off where nobody wants to play anymore. There's always going to be that hardcore player base there to keep RuneScape up. So that's kind of my opinion there. I think that kind of gives me hope that even if, RuneScape 3 isn't around in 10 or 15 years, maybe we'll have RuneScape 4, maybe we'll have RuneScape Next Gen, maybe we'll have a completely different RuneScape universe. I think the RuneScape name and the RuneScape universe, I hope that stays alive for as long as possible, because whether you're playing old school, whether you're playing RuneScape 3, whether you played RuneScape Classic, I think the RuneScape universe, Gielinor, is what makes the game great. The unique kind of skills, quests, everything about it is what makes the game great. So I hope that, and I think that will last as long as possible. Now, the one thing you think about when you think about RuneScape eventually, dying or an iteration dying is all the hours you put into it. It would definitely suck to see if you put I'm sure we've all put tons and tons of hours into RuneScape. If you're watching this video, you've probably put tons of hours into RuneScape, and it would really suck to see, that all just disappear. I think that that thought kind of makes people wonder, like, damn, I'm doing all this, and imagine if the server shut down one day for this game. Imagine if all that just disappeared, all this GP I made, all these levels I got, they were just gone. And I know MTX is a big topic of discussion, and I'm not really going to talk about it much in this video. That, of course, brings in revenue, which keeps the game alive, but it also can drive players away, which is kind of like a counterbalance. So that's always something you have to think about. Something else I thought was interesting was how much Jagex has kind of changed hands over the years. It started with the Gower brothers and then kind of evolved to where it is now. I think Jagex did recently acquire a game studio, so they might be trying to publish names under Jagex, sort of like if you think of Blizzard, you think of World of Warcraft, you think of Hearthstone, you think of, I guess now you can think of like Destiny and Call of Duty, because those are kind of on the Blizzard launcher and stuff. If Jagex is trying to move towards that to be like, a library of different games, some set in the RuneScape universe, some not, I think that could help the longevity as RuneScape as a whole, since it's kind of the main game Jagex is known for. If they get successful in other places, that might help them kind of, push RuneScape even further. So I think that's always, that's interesting to think about. But I keep coming back to that. I just can't think of a day that I can at least log into RuneScape. Like that just, whether it's cheesy, corny, or whatever, RuneScape has influenced my life a lot. Like, it helped me as a kid. I was a very anxious kid. It helped me, get through a lot. It helped me kind of distract myself from things. It still does today. I'm still an anxious person. I still worry about a lot of stuff, and it's kind of a nice distraction. And not only that, it's kind of ventured into a creative outlet, a job, a ton of stuff. It's influenced my life so much. If I never played RuneScape, I feel like my life would be a lot different. That's weird to say, but I do feel like right now, a lot of the things that have happened in my life have been influenced by RuneScape. So I just can't imagine that day that I can't log in, and I definitely hope it's not anytime soon. What do you guys think? How upset would you be about, basically, I'm sure you would be upset, but what are your thoughts of eventually that one day, whether RuneScape moves to something like RuneScape 4 or a new RuneScape, or RuneScape just dies completely, which I don't think is going to happen, and I hope doesn't happen. What are your thoughts of if, all your progress is gone, maybe you're maxed, maybe you have like a party hat, all that's gone. What do you think about that? I think if there was a new game of RuneScape out, I think I could come to grips with that, because I would be excited getting started on, whatever new games here in the RuneScape universe. But if it was just RuneScape, shutting down for good, I think that would just be a really sucky thing. That's the best way I could describe it. But this video was a total ramble, but it's something I definitely has been on my mind. I wanted to kind of talk about it. I always thought about making a video like this, but I just never really did it, and I felt like today was one of those days, so might as well. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about RuneScape ever potentially dying? I honestly do not think that it'll die anytime soon. I'm sure if the current iterations lose players or die, a new iteration will come out and kind of revamp that love for RuneScape if it ever does dwindle, but the player base is just so strong that I think there's always going to be people that want to play RuneScape. Maybe, you know, in 50 years, if, you know, we're old and we're not playing RuneScape anymore, hopefully that new games based in the RuneScape universe have come out and influenced the youth again. I think that's a big thing because we are all influenced in our youth to play RuneScape, and it's been kind of a nostalgic thing or a part of our lives for so long. I think if we continue to get newer, younger people to play RuneScape in any form, that will be huge for the longevity of the game.